Could Stefon Diggs end up in Seattle? Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to the newest Seahawks free agency rumor on the former Bills, Vikings, and Texans wide receiver coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, you see me supporting the crimson and blue of the Rock Chalk Kansas Jayhawks. Who are you rooting for in March Madness? Drop your team in the comments section, spam them, and let's hear it. I know we're going to have a lot of Zags fans watching. I'm sure we'll have some Oregon Duck fans in there as well. Let me know who you're rooting on to bring home the trophy in the comments section, and we'll get started with today's show. NFL Media's Nick Shook has named wide receiver Stefon Diggs as the Seattle Seahawks' best notable name fit of a player they should sign in NFL free agency. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking, huh? Bit of a head scratcher, right? Let's dive in and see what Nick Shook had to say. The Seahawks have cap space and already took a swing on one 31-year-old receiver with a documented injury history, signing Cooper Kupp. Diggs' path back to the field is complicated by the ACL injury that ended his 2024 campaign in October, and this pairing probably won't provide Diggs with a massive number of targets, presuming the Seahawks build out the running game, but his versatility and experience, plus Seattle's need to fill out its receiving core, makes this an ideal fit. Bringing in Diggs and Kupp to join Jackson Smith and Jigba is a solid retooling of a group that lost DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, especially if Diggs is linked to a short-term, relatively low-cost deal. Now, let me say this. I like Stefon Diggs. I really do. I've enjoyed watching his career from afar with the stops he's made along the way, from Buffalo, being an impact receiver there, Minnesota, and even this past year with the Houston Texans. Before the injury, he was playing pretty well. So when I say I don't want Stefon Diggs, this is not a knock on him personally, anything to do with his talent level and all that. He is looking for a prove-it deal. So the money situation, Nick is right in his assessment that Seattle could afford to sign Stefon Diggs if they wanted to, because Diggs is trying to prove himself, a little bit older, coming off the injury and all that. But I just don't see it happening with the Seattle Seahawks at this point in time. And the reason is that there are more pressing, there are bigger needs than paying for a veteran wide receiver at this point in time. You brought in Kupp, you brought in MVS. I expect more wide receiver help to come. You do need wide receiver help. We're not denying that. But there are certain things that you look to address that you have to say to yourself, is this a draft issue? Is this a free agency issue? And we've seen that Seattle took care of the quarterback spot. They took care of the wide receiver too. They got a pass rusher in DeMarcus Lawrence. Those were free agency issues that they felt to address. However, with getting another receiver, that is not a free agency issue. That is a draft issue that the Seattle Seahawks need to deal with when it comes to adding depth to this receiving core. You need younger, cheaper players that are going to be around for a while, not a guy like Diggs who's looking for a prove-it deal that might be here a year or two, and you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. So that's where I would say, yes, you do need receiver help. You're not wrong about that, but I think you're better off addressing this in the draft because you have more pressing needs you need to take care of here in free agency at this point. Should the Seahawks sign Stefon Diggs? You got two options here in our pinned comment today. You can type S for sign, P for pass, way in the comment section, and let us know. Folks, I want to make sure you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today as we're bringing you daily coverage that you won't find anywhere else, sometimes with 2 and 3 videos a day, in addition to our news and rumors, the live shows we do each and every Monday and Wednesday. We also are bringing you breaking news, Q&A mailbags. Anytime the Seahawks make a signing, if they somehow shock us and bring in Diggs, we're going to bring you a video here on the channel. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. We're closing in on 65,000 subscribers, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. To subscribe now, you'll be glad you did. More on Stefon Diggs played for the Texans, the Bills, the Vikings, a four-time Pro Bowler from 2020 to 2023, also a first-team All-Pro in 2020, and he was the NFL's receptions and receiving yards leader in 2020. That All-Pro year he had was his best, statistically speaking, and also he was rewarded so as much with that one and only first-team All-Pro selection that he got in his career. The question I have for any team that signs Stefon Diggs at this point in time, what version of Diggs are you getting? He's older now. He's 31. He's coming off that ACL injury. Will he get back to his old self, or will he never be the same player again? Because let's just say, for all intents and purposes, you get the version that we saw last year prior to the injury. That would work. That would more than work if you want to sign him. A guy that was close to 500 yards in 8 games, 3 touchdowns, close to 11 yards a reception. But can he stay healthy? As these guys get older in their careers, the health situations usually tend not to get better. And so what's he going to look like when he recovers from the ACL injury? And then is he going to stay healthy from there? And you think about this. You already brought in an older veteran receiver in Cooper Kupp that's had his injury issues. The question that we are posing on Stefon Diggs, if can he stay healthy, that's another question we're already asking to Cooper Kupp. So do you want to multiply that question already? Not great. Not great, Bob. Stefon Diggs, you look at the numbers, and here's what I mean. Prior to this ACL injury, Diggs has been one of the absolute best receivers in football with over 1,100 yards in 2023, 1,400 in 2022, 1,200 in 2021, 10 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. He has been really, really good. No one is arguing that at all. But with the position Seattle's in of what they need to address, and I think the fact that they should be looking to get younger at the receiver position, I just don't see how Stefon Diggs makes a ton of sense right now. Now, do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? I think we're all on the same page. Seattle needs receiver help. But how should they go about doing it? Should it be in free agency? If so, type F for free agency. If it's the draft, type D for draft. I'm typing D for draft. Get in that comment section and let us know which way you lean towards. Speaking of receivers, we're excited to have Cooper Kupp here in Seattle. His jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/cup. And we are offering free shipping as well at that same link, chatsports.com/cup. These things are going hot, folks. You are going to be the coolest cat in town if you are wearing a Cooper Kupp jersey representing the hometown kid as he makes his return to the state of Washington. Get your jerseys at chatsports.com/cup. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Also have more Seahawks merchandise available at that same link. Free shipping, chatsports.com/cup to get yours today. When I look at the receiving core for Seattle, I think this is a decent group. It's not great. It's not bad. I would say it's a decent group where things are holding up right now. With that said, there's room for improvement here when you look at these receivers that Seattle has at the moment. I want to kind of take you step by step of what Seattle is looking at. After moving on from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, the current Seattle receiving room includes Jackson Smith-Njigba, coming off a breakout season in his second year in the league. He was really good. He's only going to get better. Cooper Kupp, I thought, was a terrific signing. You did pay him a handful of money, $15 million a year, but I think you're going to like what you get out of Cooper Kupp. And then we start to see a drop-off. I'm not very high at MVS. He's a vertical threat. He can stretch the field, sure, but he's been so inconsistent throughout his career. Got cut twice in a calendar year by the Chiefs and the Bills. It's not a great sign. Jake Bobo, I know that a lot of you have been saying more Bobo and all that, but I think he just kind of is what he is at this point. He's worthy of a roster spot, but I don't have high expectations for Jake Bobo. And then you got some glorified practice squad guys. And Cody White, Young, John Rice Plumlee. I mean, there isn't much beyond that top 2 or 3. You're going to need more guys. And if they invest like they should in the offensive line, if they find another receiver, and I think with the improvements that you're going to see with this new offensive scheme under Clint Kubiak compared to what we saw in the Ryan Grubb regime, the offense shouldn't take a step back. If Seattle, John Schneider and company do this right in the next few weeks between this second wave of free agency and the draft, then even with all you've lost, moving on from your starting quarterback and two of your top three receivers, if you invest properly in this offensive line and go get some receiver help, then you could be A-OK and be just fine and take steps forward and have even a better offense in 2025, which some people thought was impossible just a few weeks ago. Do you believe in the Seahawks offense in 2025? I'll give you two options here. Type B for believe, H for hater. Sip on that haterade, right? I think I'm very optimistic about this group heading into 2025. Weigh in, let me know. Type B for believe, H for hater. Get in that comment section and let us know what you think. Folks, before we go, I want to thank you for helping me reach 8,000 followers on X. And I'm talking more Seahawks football beyond what you even see on this show over on that platform, at Tyler Jones Live. That's the same handle I use for Instagram and Facebook as well. You can follow me on all those platforms for continuing Seahawks coverage. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.